There has been much debate on the effect of climate change to the world's ecosystems, most of it focused on the negative impact on animal species. However, a recently published article illustrates just the opposite. Over a number of years, scientists studied the effects of climate change on the metapopulation of Adelie penguins in the Beaufort and Ross Island colonies. This was an ideal location as the Ross Sea is relatively untouched by man, so any change in the penguin colony would be caused by the natural habitat in which they lived and not from human interference. It was hypothesized that the increase in breeding pairs and availability of nesting habitat on Beaufort Island were related and associated with glacial retreat due to the rise of temperatures. The increase of nesting availability also explained the reason for a reduction in the emigration of young birds to the nearby colonies on Ross Island. The study aimed to calculate the available habitat and population size at Beaufort Island, the change in available habitat from 1958 to 2010, and what effect this had on the dynamics of the group. The estimated population was taken from the number of breeding pairs on Beaufort. This was done by using aerial photographs taken during the incubation period, which would make it easy to calculate estimated population as each penguin on the island could be assumed to be one of a breeding pair. The available nesting habitat was calculated using grayscale imaging and identifying the extent of the stains from the droppings, guano stain, and then subtracting the area of unsuitable habitat from within the colony boundaries. From 1999 to 2010, 400 fledgling chicks were marked at Beaufort to track the movements of penguins between colonies. Once marked, the chicks were searched for at Ross colonies in later years, and the band number and breeding status were recorded. There were problems with assessing Beaufort on some years, so scientists used survival rates from other colonies to estimate the number of Beaufort banded individuals that should have been alive. This resulted in an emigration rate, the proportion of banded Beaufort birds seen in other colonies compared to the number of banded birds supposedly alive on Beaufort Island each year. As you can see from the graph, the available nesting habitat increased by 71% since 1958, with 20% of this occurring between 1983 and 2010. There is also an association between the increase in habitat, the light bars, and the increase in population, dark bars. Now, if this increase is compared to the graph of summer temperatures taken at nearby McMurdo Station, we can see that the nesting habitat did not start to properly increase until there was a big jump in temperature. This indicates that habitat and population expansion is directly related to the increase in temperatures. From this graph, you can see that from 2005 onwards, the emigration rate starts to decline. This is most likely associated with the gradual retreat of the ice field. As the glacier retreats, there is more room for the birds, and so less have to immigrate. The results obtained suggest that the Adelie population at Beaufort Island are climate change winners due to the increased colony from higher temperatures causing glacial retreat and subsequently exposing more nesting habitat.